Are you having a really hard time managing your anxiety? If so, you're not alone. Anxiety is the number one reason that people come in to see me here in my office, clinically. So today, I want to offer you a technique, and I'm going to give you a little background on this technique and why it's so powerful. But I'm going to offer you a technique that you can use in your everyday life to help manage your anxiety so that you can stop suffering all the time. So welcome. I am Dr. Leif Smith, and I help people get better, be better, and do better in life. And one of the ways I help people is in my clinical practice. And as I was saying earlier in the intro, anxiety is the number one reason that people come in to see me for clinical treatment. If you are having a hard time managing anxiety, I think this is going to be a video that will be really helpful to you. Now, I want to give you a little bit of background on this technique, because if you understand the background, then you have the educational base needed to understand why this technique is so powerful. And the background you need to understand is that awareness in general is the point at which you are going to change anything in your life. Let me state that again because it's an important statement. Awareness is the point at which everything changes for the better, if you want it to, in your life. What does that mean? Well, if you look at most of the bad habits you have, right, quote unquote bad habits, they're pretty unconscious. Maybe you bite your nails and you don't realize it. Maybe you're negative and you don't realize it. Maybe you have other bad habits. You eat bad food and you're not aware of it. Maybe you don't realize how long you go between workouts, that you sometimes will go months between working out, and you're just not aware of it because you're so busy. Sometimes being busy is the bad habit, right? So we have all these bad habits that we want to change. If you want to change them, you have to start becoming aware of the fact that they are bad habits, right? Doesn't that make sense? It makes sense. Usually we're aware of it around January 1st. We're aware that we need a beach body because we're going to Florida in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 months. And we want to get that beach body, right? So we have awareness that we need to change. Or somebody tells us that our nail biting habit is annoying. Or that our habit of being 20 minutes late to everything we do is getting us in trouble. Our boss is finally fed up with it and is warning us that we might lose our job. Awareness. When you are aware of the damage you are doing, only at that point can you start changing it. Because when we're not aware, what are we? We're unconscious. We're not thinking. We're just going through the habits. We're just doing it over and over again, right? We open up the fridge. We just eat whatever's in there because we're hungry. We don't work out because we didn't set aside the time to do it. And pretty soon a week turns into 2 weeks, turns into 3 weeks, turns into 4 weeks. And so not only do we have one bad habit of not working out, but we have another one of just eating randomly while watching TV, right? So we're unconscious. We're like zombies. We're just going about our daily business, doing the same old bad habits over and over and over again. This is why it's so hard to change, people. Because it's so automatic to continue doing our bad behaviors. And if we go back to what I said in the beginning, awareness is the point at which things change. I've done another video on that you can watch after this video. But awareness is the point at which everything will change for you. How so? Well, we need to disautomate these behaviors. We need to make it so they're not automatic. So instead of going into the fridge and just grabbing food while we're watching football on Sundays or binge watching something, right? The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, Passion Island, whatever we watch at night. Instead of just going to the fridge and grabbing food and eating mindlessly, we stop and we change things. Instead of jamming our fingers in our mouth when we're nervous, we stop and we become more intentional. Instead of being 20 minutes late to everything, because that's okay, it's fashionably late and people won't get too mad. Instead of doing that, we become much more intentional and we actually start arriving early to everything that we're doing. So we need to undo the unconscious bad behavior. How do we do that? Awareness, consciousness, being mindful, paying attention to the point at which the bad habit starts, okay? I hope that makes sense. If you don't know when you start biting your nails, you're not going to stop biting your nails. If you don't know the points at which you're eating all that bad food unconsciously, you're not going to stop eating the bad food. If you don't realize at what point you're not leaving time in your schedule to work out, nothing's going to change. So today's technique is what I like to call catch and release. And it's a very simple technique. And no, I'm not a fisherman. I come from a long line of fishermen, but I'm not a fisherman. But I understand there's something called catch and release. You catch the fish, you check it out, you take pictures with it, and you let it go. How does this apply to anxiety? Well, we waste a lot of time arguing with our thoughts. We waste a lot of time trying to counteract these negative thoughts that are just inundating, flooding our brain. Instead, here's what I think could help you dramatically. First of all, we're at the point of awareness, right? You start having these thoughts. Oh my gosh, right? Oh my gosh, things are going poorly. Here we go again. Oh my God, they don't like me. I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm not good enough. At that point, when you can catch yourself, catch the thought, grab it, pull it out of the water as fishermen do. Look at the thought, notice it. You can take a picture with it if you want, but I don't recommend that because you'd be taking lots of pictures. Throw it back into the ocean and let it go. You don't need to engage it. You don't need to do anything with it. Just notice that thought and how it appeared. Let it go. You do that once. You do that twice, it gets easier to do it. You do that 3 times, it gets even easier. In the neurobiological world, we call that potentiation. You're making it stronger to do. You're making yourself more able to do it, I should say, next time. You get stronger. Muscles get stronger with use. Potentiation means the more we can catch and release, the easier it is next time to catch and release. Why is this a benefit to you? It's a benefit to you because when you're not catching and releasing, what we're doing is the old habit, the old bad habit. And we go down the rabbit hole. And that one negative thought turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into 4, 5. Pretty soon we just spent 5 minutes catastrophizing and making our life a living hell for ourselves in our head. When you can catch and release, it loses that power. You let it go. You notice the thought and you let it go. I don't care how mean-spirited the thought is, how nasty, how negative in terms of the slant that thought is. Catch it and let it go. What you will find is the more you do this, the easier it gets. The easier it gets, the clearer your mind will be. And so it's really a game of noticing and letting go. Sometimes I talk to athletes about this. It's like talking, why would you talk to a heckler, right? You go and you're playing as the visiting team, and you go and you play in this stadium, and all these fans are here rooting against you. And one heckler is sitting there telling you, you suck. You're terrible. You're the worst ever. You don't, as the athlete, stop what you're doing, go in the stands, and try to have a rational discussion with that heckler, do you? No, you don't. Why? Because that heckler is irrational from the start. It's not true. It's not true that you're not good. You're good. That's why they're heckling you. But it doesn't do any good to try to get in a conversation and try to change their mind. Conversely, why would you do this in your head? That voice in your head is a heckler. It's not rational. meaning it's not based in reality, and it's not helpful. So stop arguing with it, notice it, and let it go. You can notice the heckler sitting there in the stands yelling about how bad you are, but you don't need to engage them. Let it go. You can smile at them, give them a wink, keep playing, keep going, keep winning, right? That's what we want to do. So that's the whole idea behind catch and release. I want you to practice this skill. You'll get better at it the more you do it. Potentiation here, okay? And we're developing positive habits. So, I hope this helps. Please, if you're not a subscriber yet, I want you to join my community, and I want you to be a big part of all the changes we're making for people in their lives. So hit the subscribe button, join the community, let me know how this technique works for you in the comments section below, and I will see you in the next video. Again, I'm Dr. Leif Smith, and I help people get better, be better, and do better in life.